Hi everybody, and welcome to Module 5, Lesson 16 for fractions. So our objective today is to place a whole number fraction and fractions between whole numbers on the number line. So we're still doing fractions on a number line, but now we're going over 1. So before we did smaller fractions between 0 and 1, and now we're going for fractions that are greater than 1. Draw a number line on your board with the endpoints of 1 and 2. Now before, when we talked about this, we did our number lines from 0 to 1. Now think of it like a ruler. So when you're between 0 and 1, you're using small fractions. But when you're doing fractions on a ruler, you're going to go greater than 1 because a lot of times we're going to measure things that are bigger than 1 inch or 1 centimeter. So for this, we're going on to fractions that are greater than 1. So we're starting with 1. Now, if you count our boxes, you might be able to figure out how many are between it. So we're going to actually not count this first one because this is going to tell us something in a minute. You'll see why. But I'm going to count these. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guess, based on what I just counted, what unit fraction we're going to be using? Remember, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. So what unit fraction would we be using? If you guessed that we would be using the unit fraction of fourths, which looks like 1 over 4, you are correct. We're going to be doing this in fourths. Now, when you're doing this, I didn't count the ones for a reason because that was the end of the last group of fractions. So when I do this, this is going to be the end of the last group. So this is going to show me a whole. So my first fraction is 4 over 4 because 4 over 4 equals 1 whole. Now, if you go to the next one, I bet you can guess because remember, it goes up with our numbers because we're getting bigger spots. We're growing in our size, but our denominator is going to stay the same. So if this one is 4 over 4, our next one is going to go up 1 numerator, but our denominator is going to stay the same. So it's going to be 5 over 4. So if this is 4 over 4, 5 over 4, I bet you know you're figuring out the pattern here. Our denominator is staying the same, but what's going to go on top? If you guess 6 over 4, you're correct. So we have 5 over 4, or 4 over 4, 5 over 4, 6 over 4. This one's going to be 7 over 4. And the last one is going to be 8 over 4. I'm going to show you a little trick. Another way to think of the fraction bar is like division. So if I have 8 over 4, that's like saying 8 divided by 4, which is also another way to think of multiplication. So if you have 8 items, you're dividing them into 4 groups. How many are going to be in each group? It's going to be 2 in each group. And 8 over 4 equals 2 whole pieces. So when you're using fractions on a number line, that is one way to think of them, is that they're also looking at it kind of like division. So I want you to draw a number line, and this time we're going from 2 all the way up to 4 on this one. So we're going a long way if this was a ruler. Now we have to figure out what number is missing from the number line. So we're actually going to come down here. We have our whole numbers on the bottom. I tend to do my whole numbers on the top. They did them on the bottom. I tend to do my whole numbers on the top and then the fractions on the bottom. They did it a little differently than I did, but however you want to do it is fine. So if we have a whole number of 2 over here and 3 and 4 over there, we're missing the number 3. So, oops, they already did one for me because I touched the board. But this right here, oh, we're going to go ahead and do it. So never mind. So remember, we don't count this one, and if I'm counting in between them, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So I'm doing the thirds. So I have 6 over 3, 7 over 3, 8 over 3, 9 over 3, 10 over 3, 11 over 3, and 12 over 3. So if you kind of do think of this as division, you have 6 on this one. You have 6 over 3 is like saying 6 divided by 3. So if I have 6 and I'm dividing into 3 groups, I will have 2 in each group, which is our whole number here, 2. If I come over here to my fourths, I have 12. over 3, which equals 12 divided by 3, which is like saying if I have 12 and I'm dividing them into 3 groups, how many am I going to have left? Or how many am I going to have in each group? 4, which is the same as our whole number here. So when we want to figure out our whole number in the middle, we kind of already have a guess. Because if we have a 2 here and a 4 here, chances are you already know what goes here because you know how to count. But if I wanted to figure out with math, I would say I have 9 over 3, which is like saying that fraction bar is like a division bar, divided by 3. And if I have 9 groups, or I have 9 items, and I divide them into 3 groups, I'm going to have 3 in each group. So what should go here but at the number 3? Let me erase it and see if it'll do it this time. And 3 goes in the middle. So when you're dealing with fractions greater than 1, also notice that your numerator, your top number, is going to be larger than your denominator, your bottom number. So when we're doing those numbers, please remember they're going to be larger. All right, guys, thank you. And thank you for fractions in lesson 16 of module 5.